Hey GoBuddies fans, I am Sonicsuns. I'm going to start here by giving you a little update on my ongoing creative projects. My regular Sonicsuns YouTube channel has, I think, like 530 videos, and I plan to make several more. My funny little sci-fi webcomic entitled YLDE is sort of on hiatus, but we're still planning to do more on that. My fantasy book in progress entitled Tales of Eudo the Wanderer is being written, and you can see me writing it online. My crazy funny idea thingy entitled Baka Desnay that teaches you Japanese while being simultaneously crazy and funny is sort of in progress thing of a few people that are like ad hoc trying to make something of it. Maybe we would do like an animation like Teen Girl Squad style out of homestarrunner.com, you know that site? The Teen Girl Squad, it's like a frame every 2 or 3 seconds. So I'm not exactly up with a professional animation company, but nevertheless, collaboration is always very cool. My Ning website, which is devoted to a concept I call Wurlum, which is about like kindness and generosity and so forth, that site exists, and I'm getting around to posting some more updates to it in some time. And as for my collaborative GoBuddies channel, I'm working on that right now. Okay, so potentially the whole front section of this video is me advertising myself. Anyway, Mittens, I saw you made a video where you showed us you have a new camera. Yay, camera! And you also said you wouldn't make videos for a while because you gotta work on midterms. Boo, midterms! As for other people making videos, we'll see about all that. LT is, as far as I know, still very busy. Demetheus has borrowed my old other camera thing and hopefully will make a video with it at some point. Hey, Demetheus, you should get around to that. And what else we got? Oh yeah, how about the part where I actually tell an interesting story or something rather than giving you all these status updates? With regards to that, let's talk about college. You know the thing I love about college in comparison to high school? Freedom. Now, maybe, different for different people, different high schools and their colleges and so forth, but for me, high school was tough, and then to go to college, everything was so much easier. I spent less time in class, less time doing homework, and if you show up late to a class or whatever, they don't give you a tardy or all these other things of punishment. It's just like, oh, okay, roll with it. And oh, that was so cool, so just very different freshman year. First class of the day freshman year, on any given day, was 11 a.m., and I would show up late to that class. This one time, I showed up 50 minutes late to an hour-long class, and it was fine. And I even got an A in that class because, I participated in all the discussions. I really knew what I was talking about. And I came in late because I could, and I slept a little in, and I actually ate my breakfast and so forth, and yeah, it was so cool. Which is not to say that every class in the world works that way, but I'm just saying that. In the context of all that, I am now about to tell you about the time I skipped an entire semester of class. Yeah, true story. It was 2 years ago in a computer science class entitled Data Structures or something like that. The teacher of this class is a teacher that I'd had before, and previously he had had no attendance policy. And that was great. I could skip class once in a while. It was fine, just so long as I did my homework and I did well on the final. So on the first day of Data Structures, I asked the teacher, do you have an attendance policy? And he says, no, just, learn your stuff, however, there's no formal punishment for not attending. I said, great. I then proceeded to not attend class for like the entire freaking semester. Because it was a 9 a.m. class, I didn't want to get up, and the year before I'd had that 11 a.m. class, which is so much nicer place to start the day. And furthermore, I knew my stuff. There was, the things they're teaching weren't incredibly hard. I'd seen some of that previously. I could see other things on Wikipedia. There was the teacher had his own website I could look stuff up on. And if I really need to, I could ask a fellow student. So I didn't attend class. The other feature of this class was that all the homework was due at the end of the semester. There were like due dates, but they didn't matter at all, just so long as you had your stuff in and working, your programs that you had to write, that is. You had to write some programs, you had them in by the end of the semester, and if they were great, then they were great, and it didn't really matter when you turned them in. So as you may have guessed from my previous statement, I didn't do the homework either for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end. This is further oddified. Yes, oddified is a word. It probably wasn't a word before, but it is now. It's further oddified by the fact that I, only had 3 classes that semester and thus was taking less than the normal load. So there I was, living essentially as if I attended 2 classes that semester, and no, I didn't spend the extra time partying. I do my own things, creative things, for instance, anyway. And there was one time, like a couple months into this, where I attended class, in the sense that for no good reason at all, I woke up and I was like, oh, it's early enough that I could go to class. I should fine, so I headed off to class. And on that one day, the one day I tried to attend, that was the day the teacher's wife was having a baby and class was canceled. Near the end of the semester, I sent the teacher an email, sort of at random, sorta, just to say hi, or, I don't even know why, and he emailed back saying, "What the frick? I thought you dropped out of school." Which, it wasn't his exact phrasing, but it was something like that. Or at least he figured I dropped out of the class. In any case, he wasn't really happy that I had taken his lack of attendance policy and lack of turning in your homework policy to the logical extreme. So I fired back a very humble, "I'm sorry about all this" email, and then I met with him and said, I'm sorry again, and then from there to the end of the semester, I actually did attend class. But here's the odd part. Attending class wasn't actually necessary, in the sense that I knew my stuff from, the internet and Wikipedia and the teacher's own website, and, it wasn't that hard. So here I am attending, sort of pretending like I'm really learning something when I wasn't really learning something, because although the teacher knew his stuff very well, I also knew the stuff, well enough for that class anyway. So I attended, and then I did all the freaking homework in the last couple weeks of class, and no, I wasn't, freaked out about it. I wasn't really hurried. I mean, I had to work a little at it, but I didn't freak. And then I took the final, and I got an A- on the final, because I knew my stuff, despite my incredible lack of attendance. And then I got a C in the class. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened there. At the time, I felt that all things considered, I was lucky to be passing the class at all, in the sense that I'd made the teacher mad, and who knows what may happen there. Furthermore, this teacher is also my advisor, and I didn't want to get on his bad side by disputing the semester grade he had given me, so I just let it slide. A year later, I did talk to him, and he said I got an A- on the final. That's when I found out, actually, was a year later. And most of my homework got it in, but one of I think the final project or something, he had never received. And I had actually written it, but apparently I hadn't sent it to him or something. I don't know exactly what happened there. In the meantime, between the getting of that C and the accounting of this a year later, a friend of mine took a different class with this teacher. And this teacher talked about this one student he had that didn't turn in any of the homework till the very end of the semester, and didn't, have the greatest attendance record in the world. And thanks to that student, the syllabus is now changed, mandating, tighter regulations with regards to those things. The same friend tells me that this teacher says of the mysterious previous student he had that caused him to change the syllabus, that, with regards to that student, I didn't really want to give him an A or a B, so I gave him a C. Which has brought about the suspicion that maybe I earned an A or a B, and he bumped me down because of my attendance and so forth, despite the fact that officially he had no policy in that regard. And I've been told that if that's the case, I should complain to someone, because you shouldn't dock someone for their attendance and so forth. You don't actually have an attendance policy. But I don't really know how it works. I may have lost a few points in some assignments, and there's the one assignment he apparently didn't get, and, I'm set to graduate, having a good GPA even, so I'm just going to let it rest. And, I may be being suspicious for nothing. I don't know. So I'm just leaving it there. But anyway, yeah, I really did learn my stuff on my own sort of thing, and I got to my, further classes and other semesters, I got by just fine. I didn't have, some major deficit because there's something important I needed to know back in class. Nah, not really. And, I'm looking to be on track to graduate and everything, good GPA and all that. So that, my friends, is the story of how I skipped an entire semester of class, and apparently everything turned out fine. Of course, I have to put in a major disclaimer. That doesn't necessarily work that way for everybody in every class and every circumstance, and all sorts of things can, I don't know, your situation is probably different than mine in some way. Thanks for watching. See you later.